Digital desk. We have an update from fire officials from this explosion out of Oakwood Village. We have been live streaming all day, essentially showing you the status of this I Schumann Co facility that had an explosion at about 2 o'clock earlier today. We still have crews live on scene that are showing you exactly what we are looking at here, and that entails the fact that we have emergency vehicles still in and around this area. This is not going to end anytime soon, and as is typical with a situation like this, a breaking news situation, we want to be able to show you all aspects of this, and that includes the latest from fire and police. They're going to mention here how many were hurt in this, how many are potentially in a difficult situation, and how many could be affected by this both in and around the area. Here is the latest.
This afternoon we got several phone calls for a very large explosion in the vicinity of this plant right here. This is a metal foundry. Crews arrived on scene, had heavy fire and smoke and debris scattered all throughout the area, which you can see still right behind me. And we've called several mutual aid companies. We went to a third alarm fire, and we've put the bulk of the fire out. We're putting out some hot spots right now.
Tell us about the injuries to the victims.
I heard one person is dead.
We had 14 people, 13 people transferred to the hospital. One more that's being seen right now. I don't know the condition of any of the patients. I know at least one was critical, several burn injuries, and we went to several area hospitals.
What's the cause? Have you know yet from a couple people I talked to that were in the plant? They said it was a big boom.
Yeah, it was a big explosion from the people here in the plant. We do not know the cause yet. That's still going to have to be under investigation here with ourselves, and we have the state fire marshal on scene as well.
Can you talk about the debris and where it went?
Yeah, the debris is scattered. I mean, in an area probably a couple hundred yards. Caused damage even to this parking lot across the street and several vehicles. No injuries from the debris. The injuries are all sustained from the fire inside.
Captain, how hard has this been for you guys? Because it's such a big plant and you have so many injuries. How difficult has it been for you folks?
We handle it like all of our calls with, one step at a time. We call mutual aid companies. We have several area departments helping and several area chiefs assisting and helping us run this incident.
Can you talk about how you were able to treat some of the folks here at the scene and then send some of them via life squad and others versus also with the medical helicopter?
So when we got here, we realized there was several injured people in the building. So we established an EMS sector that was triaging the patients and deciding where was best for them to go.
Yeah, we are hearing from multiple sources that it is one person was pulled out of the debris already deceased. And we can't confirm that?
Yeah, I know we did pull one person out. That was later in the event. They were still treating him medically as they pulled him out. They took him to the ambulance, to the helicopter that was on scene. I do not know the condition of that patient.
Can you talk about the injuries that you saw in terms of, was it severe burns? Would it have been damage from the debris?
It seemed like a lot of burn victims, a lot of burn injuries. The people were mostly walking wounded. They were coming up to us. I knew I had somebody handling the EMS calls. I was handling the fire incident.
How many people have you seen look shocked? The people I spoke to almost seem like they're in shock over what had happened.
Yeah, sure. That was like I said, it was a large explosion, and they're where they work and their coworkers were injured. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that work here that are in shock.
Have you been here before? Have there been any issues that the Oakwood Fire Department has dealt with here?
I've been here several times. I'm a fire inspector here for the last 10 years, and I've worked here for 24 years. Been here several times. It's a very safe place, except for the fact that it's a foundry, so you're dealing with molten hot metal, so there's always an inherent danger. But we're not here for any sort of fire emergencies on any given day. It's a relatively safe plant.
Would you say everything is under control right now?
Right now, the fire is under control. We're just trying to hit some of the hot spots, make sure we have no extension. But right now, the bulk of the fire is out.
And I'm hearing that 3 people are possibly still missing.
No, we have all people accounted for from the plant staff.
Do you know how many people were working there?
I do not know.
Thank you.
We do know that back in, I think it was 2006, there was another explosion that happened with a number of people who were also injured. Any indication it might be a similar cause?
No, I can't speak to that incident. I don't know.
What do you think about too that people all the way from Walton Hills heard the explosion?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like I said, it was a large explosion, and Walton Hills is not too far. That's down the road right around the corner. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a large explosion. That's all I'm saying.
All right, thank you.
All right, I gotta get back.
So now you're seeing there our Jim Nelson finishing his report from the scene. The update from fire coincides actually with what we've heard from Jim Nelson there, which is that he saw the medical examiner arrive on scene. That is not a good thing for those that are unfamiliar with why exactly that would be. The medical examiner arriving on there typically means that there's a need to investigate and look into the potential of a person being there. That's where I'm going to leave it right now as we, again, wait for more updates here. I want to show you at least the latest that we have. I want to see if this is going to load to show the scenes from this. Yep, okay, so this is what it looked like on scene. You can see that part of a wall fell onto a bunch of cars from the explosion. This is the entire area that basically saw most of that explosion there. You heard from the fire chief where he said that, you're dealing with molten metals, which can be dangerous, but look at the damage just from that side, and then consider the neighboring areas that saw debris, that saw ash from this massive explosion. I mean, this is huge. It is widespread and not just to the area that surrounds I Schumann and Co. This is something we're going to be covering and talking about and breaking down very clearly much more tonight on 19 News. Our news is continuing at 6 o'clock until 6:30, but the damage done to cars, to property, that is going to take a while to go through, and of course the status of the people that were hurt in this. We know one is at least in critical condition right now. One was life flighted away from the area. No update on them as of right now, but Jim Nelson is on the scene. He will provide us with the latest as soon as that does become readily available. More on this on 19 News right now until 6:30. We, of course, have 19 News at 7:30, kickstarting up again in about an hour and a half, so we hope to see you there. For now, I'm Jeff Sloss with 19 News. Have a safe day. More on this breaking news story here on 19 News.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart.